Whenever we launch a new website through WordPress, we need to take care of some plugins, and I always start with the SEO plugins, which are for me, the most basic infrastructure of any new website is getting it ready for Google. So I go into plugins and add a new plugin. I'm going to search. So for me, one of the most basic and easy to use plugins, which is the sitemap. I'm going to write in the search window sitemap. There are several plugins for this feature. I'm going to use one that I really like. It's very simple. It's called XML sitemap. This is the one. XML and Google sitemap. It's not. It's very basic, and basically you don't need to be too complicated when you create a Google sitemap. So I look at all the options that I have available, and if you're not familiar with the world of plugins, you can always look at the stars for the ranking. How much? What's the reaction that the users gave this specific plugin? So we have Google XML sitemaps. Highly rated based on more than 3,000 ratings. I'm going to install it now. Now I can always click details before to see if it's compatible to my WordPress version. WordPress keeps updating its version. It's now 3.4.1 on my website, but of course it can be something completely different on the website that you're using. And we have complete compatibility here. I have a description, screenshots if I want to see, and I'm going to click install now. Remember, it's Google XML sitemaps, Google XML sitemaps. You can see the name here again if you want to do it on your website as well. 3.2.7, and I'm going to activate the plugin. And that's the whole story. Most of this plugin performance is done automatically. There's not a lot of setup to do or maintenance. Maintenance actually you don't have to do at all. That's one of the advantages. And I'm going to check it out now in the settings. Okay, you see I'm standing on the settings tab, and XML sitemap appears here, which means that the plugin was installed correctly. And there is no sitemap generated for this site. Yes, of course, I can build it here for the first time. Let's just go quickly over some of the settings. Write an XML, okay, building mode. Notify Google about updates of your site, of course. Being ask.com, of course, I want to keep all these boxes checked. That's why I have a sitemap. I can play around a little bit with the priorities of the post, with locating the sitemap. I would keep it as the default location, which is yourwebsite.com/sitemap.xml. Don't mess around with this address. It's very standard. Most websites use this basic address. And what am I going to export? So I'm going to export usually to the sitemap, the homepage, the posts, static pages. I would also add categories and tag pages. It increases the amount of pages that are exported to Google. And basically what you want to do is to have everything indexed. And you can play a little bit with the frequency, the change frequencies according to how often you change things on your blog or your website. Of course, the priority is given to each category, if it's the homepage, if it's the posts themselves or other pages, if it's the tags. You can give them all numbers. I'm going to update the options that as I change them. I only added one small thing actually. And what I'm going to do right now is to generate for the first time. Click here to build it for the first time. Now this is it. It's fire and forget. The sitemap is going to do it on its own, this plugin. Google and Bing were successfully notified. Ask.com is having some problems recently, but the main issue here is Google and Bing. So I have right now a sitemap that is ready, including the date and time that the sitemap was generated. You can see it over here. And of course, you can always see when was the last sitemap generated. And in another video, we'll see how it works together with the Webmaster Tools. But right now I have an XML sitemap generator, and I took another step in the direction of getting ready for Google.